Let's remove this plastic cover from this package of wet wipes. Add a bit of hot glue and stick it onto the outlet. Now we have a cover for our outlet. This screw keeps falling down. We can wrap it with some plastic wrap in order to make our life a bit easier. Next, we'll make a handle that keeps our broom from falling apart. Cut off the bottom of a plastic bottle and pass a cord through the cap and tie a knot like so. Put the bottle around the end of the broom and shrink the plastic using a heat gun. Now screw on the cap. After some sweeping, we can hang it up when we're done. Our pliers are a little too small to unscrew this. But what about if we use the other side? Use a magnet to organize drill bits. Sawdust often gathers in our toolboxes. We can remove it by putting some masking tape with holes on the end of this vacuum to act as a filter. We don't seem to have the right tool to remove this bolt. If we can trace the shape of the bolt onto this bottle cap, we can use it to help us unscrew the bolt. Using a hammer on wood is going to leave indentations. We can add some hot glue to the end of this hammer to act as a cushion and to protect the wood from being damaged. Unscrewing this nut using pliers can be a little tricky. We can pass a zip tie around the handles to give us a consistent grip as we pass it over the vise. Using a normal sander to sand the inner edges of this piece isn't going to work. We can solve this problem with a little bit of ingenuity. Apply some double-sided tape and sandpaper to the jigsaw blade like so. Now we can sand using our jigsaw. Hanging up disposable gloves like this will keep our hands clean during painting. Need some DIY plastic tubes? Start by cutting a plastic bottle into strips. Now we can pass the strips through the small hole and melt them a bit with a heat gun. We can cut the strips to any size that we like. And even place them into drywall to create anchors for screws. This old label just isn't coming off. We can use this DIY paint scraper to do the job. Our next project is making a can of spray paint using this plastic bottle. We'll attach a bike tire valve to the top of this plastic bottle. Then we'll cut off the top of this spray paint can and remove the inner tube. Then we'll pass the tube through the bottle cap and apply hot glue to seal it. Now we can screw on the cap and attach the nozzle. Fill the bottle with paint and pump it with air. Now it sprays. Using pliers will damage this metal rod. We can prevent any scratches by applying some hot glue to the teeth of the pliers. We can't remove this bottle cap with our bare hands, but we can use this plastic bottle to help us. Melt the top and flatten it out like so. Now we can pop the cap right off. Our cables are always falling off the table when we need them most. Let's attach a comb to the edge of this table to hold all of our cords. You can use a credit card to smooth out this bead of caulk for a clean, professional look. It's always difficult to solder tiny wires. Let's make a little stand. Wrap a rubber band around the handles of one pair of pliers. Place the capacitor in the jaws. Wrap a rubber band around the second pair of pliers and use those pliers to hold up the first pair. Now we can comfortably solder. A quick way to easily sharpen pencils is just by using a sander. We can use this orbital sander paper to draw a few different sized circles, as you can see here. We want to tie this rope around this tree, but which knot should we use? We'll keep things simple and just tie an overhand loop. Start with a simple overhand knot and wrap the rope around the tree. Then use the loose end to follow the path of the overhand knot. Pull it tight, and now you have a secure knot. The tip of your snap blade is getting dull. You can clip it off with a pair of pliers for a fresh tip. We need to fill spackling around this hole without making a mess. We can use a drywall knife to help us out. Seems like this paint roller brush is a bit too long. We can saw it down to the appropriate size and then put back the end piece where it belongs. This fits perfectly. This bolt keeps falling out of the socket. We can use a rubber band to hold it in place. Now just attach the socket. Remove the rubber band when finished. This bearing is looking a little bit dirty. We can remove a lot of the grime with just the help of some duct tape. By adding a binder clip and a pen to the back of this measuring tape, we can make quick marking gauge for marking straight lines. We can use some tacks to help us line up these dowels. Now we just drill our holes, and our dowels fit perfectly. This hammer is a bit too wide to reach this nail. We can stack another nail on top to drive the first nail all the way in. Here's a cool device that will help us screw in two pieces of board together. Let's create a tool that will help us safely sand small pieces of wood without injuring our fingers. We'll place the wood on one side and a wedge on the other side. Now we can sand safely. We can glue these clothespins to the wall to act as a hanger for any instructions or diagrams. We can still get this TV remote to work, even if we only have one battery. Insert the battery, and then roll up a piece of aluminum foil. Place it inside the other battery slot, and now you can use the remote. We can solder these two pieces of wire together by running an electric current through them. By drilling a hole into this bolt, we can pass wire rope through the bolt and then screw it into the post, making cable railing. Just be sure to secure the wire rope on the other side. If you're having a hard time toe nailing, that is, hammering a nail into a stud, you can use a curved nail to make hammering a little easier. Now we're making a DIY expansion anchor. Round off the head of the bolt so that it fits into the PVC pipe. Add a washer and a bolt so that it looks like this. Place it into the block and tighten up the bolt until it's secure. This set of wrenches is a bit unorganized. We can fasten the head of this rake to the wall and hang all of our wrenches on that. If we cut these boards along the markings like so, we'll have a nice, secure stand that'll help us plane and sand our woodworking pieces. Here we have a dado joint that we are going to lock into place using these dowels. Drill holes, add some glue, insert the dowels, and then saw them flush. Then sand everything for a smooth finish. Next, we're cutting out a drill holder for our belt from this plastic bottle. These tabs will attach to our belt. This drill fits nicely. Let's make a tripod out of PVC. We'll drill some holes to create a slot that holds our phone. Then we'll cut out the legs of the tripod. Now we can watch all of our favorite videos. If we have an old fork, we can bend it like this and then use it as a wire twister. Let's use this brand new brush head with stiff bristles and attach it to the end of the rod and drill. Now we can scrub all the skin off these soaked potatoes in record time. It's much faster than peeling. By drilling a few holes in this board and adding a bit of varnish, we can make a stand for our pliers.